Hey everybody, I'm Alan with Dad's Playing Games, and in this video you'll be watching my first battle in my solo Frostgrave campaign. For all the house rules and restrictions that I'm placing on myself for this solo campaign, please check the link in the description for my solo campaign introduction video. As stated in that video, I will be starting with the first scenario found in the core rulebook, which is the Mausoleum. So this scenario requires a rectangular shaped building with a door on each side and a special treasure token placed at each corner of the mausoleum. There will be 2 normal treasure tokens placed on the board as well as 2 skeletons. And at the end of each turn, another skeleton will be spawned at a randomly selected doorway. For all of the battle videos for my solo campaign, I'll be recording these introduction pieces after I've played the battle. That way I can give a few hints and maybe some minor spoilers of what you'll find in the video. It'll also allow me to point out some mistakes. One problem with playing any solo game is that you don't have someone sitting across the board from you to point out mistakes when you make them. So I found some things during the editing, like a time where multiple times I called a spell by the wrong name. At one point, each wizard has a specific die assigned to them, and at one point I forgot which one was whose. And at one point I apparently forgot which game I was playing and started to incorporate a rule from a different game written by Joseph A. McCall. So you'll see those. One minor spoiler for this battle is you'll see how wandering monsters can greatly affect the outcome of any game of Frostgrave. Now I'm going to be introducing you to 2 of my wizards. I'll be creating 4 total wizards and their warbands for the campaign, but now I'm going to show you the 2 wizards that will be participating in this battle. I'm going to explain their backstories, their spells they've selected, the soldiers they've hired, and also I've created kind of a play style for each wizard that I'm hoping to kind of differentiate who they are based on their backstories and why they're here at Frostgrave. So let's take a look at these wizards. The first of my wizards I'll introduce is Braila, and she and her brother Bralek are Chronomancers. The 2 siblings' father is a powerful wizard, and the 2 have been learning about magic for as long as they can both remember. They grew up, however, with a dad who cared more about his magic than his children, and in an effort to earn their father's favor, they've traveled to Frostgrave in an attempt to show their worth. The spells that Braila and Bralek have are from their primary school: Fleet Feet, Time Store, and Decay. Their aligned spells are Spell Eater, Reveal Secret, and Wall. And their neutral spells are Beauty and Animal Companion. The soldiers they'll be beginning their campaign with are a man-at-arms, 2 archers, an infantryman, 3 thugs, and a warhound. For their playstyle, they have a desire for quick gain, so they will focus mainly on the treasures nearest to them and try to get off the battlefield quickly. However, if they fail to successfully cast Reveal Secret, they will take more risks to carry another treasure off the board. Braila's warband will be facing off against my Sigilists. So Gloven is a historian and a sage, and he's the mentor to Strog. They've traveled to Frostgrave to retrieve artifacts and magical things to preserve the history of Felstad from those who would plunder the frozen city. Their mission is to prevent Felstad's secrets from falling into the wrong hands. The spells they've selected from their primary school are Right Scroll, Furious Quill, and Power Word. Their aligned spells are Banish, Glow, and Telekinesis, and their neutral spells are Bones of the Earth and Familiar. The soldiers they've hired to start their campaign are a crossbowman, 4 archers, 2 thugs, and a warhound. And for their playstyle, their strategy is to try to always leave the battlefield with more treasure than their opponent. They plan to make use of telekinesis to move their enemies' treasures closer to their side of the battlefield, and use their army of archers to help secure those treasures. They also plan to use Furious Quill or Glow, empowered with Power Word, to distract their enemies in the process. Alright, so I've got my table set up here for the Mausoleum battle. In the center here we have the Mausoleum, which is a square building. And on each side of it we've got a special treasure token. So we got these on each of the four corners. And also for the setup rules, we have some skeletons hanging out. Got two of them. Our other treasures are up there and over here. I've randomly decided which edge will be the player edges, which will be the sides over here. During the battles, anywhere where we see these ladders, ladders can be moved at normal movement rate, just to encourage soldiers to use the ladders. And as a reminder, I'll be using the brick measurement system. 4 pigs equals 1 inch. We've got the Warbands over here, ready to hit the battlefield. And just over here we've got the other Warbands, which will be introduced in the next battle. Each wizard is going to be using their same dice throughout the entire campaign. They're kind of color-coded with their character sheets here. Highest chooses which side they're going to play on. And we've got 9 for Gloven. And since Gloven's all about the archers, he's going to set up over here on this side. He's got a number of areas he can climb up to get some good vantage points on his enemy. So my perspective on the board has changed here. I actually just moved the board to the other side of the room for extra space here. So everything might seem backwards now from the start of this video. But I need to do my out-of-game spells. So Gloven and his apprentice, Strog, are going to try to cast Familiar. Gloven needs a 12. Let's see if he successfully casts it. Nope. And Strog, his apprentice, needs a 14. And he also fails that. Braila and Bralek have 2 out-of-game spells. They're going to try first to cast Reveal Secret. Braila needs a 14. Failure, and Bralek needs a 16. Failure. And they can both cast Animal Companion. So Braila on a 12. Failure, and Bralek on a 14. Well, the out-of-game spells aren't doing the players any good this game. Alright, so all figures are set up on the board. Starting over here with Gloven's team. Gloven, the wizard, is hanging out back there with a thug, a warhound, and an archer. He also has another thug and a crossbowman over there. Over here, his apprentice Strog is hanging out with an archer, another archer, and then they have their last archer right over there waiting to climb up here. On the other side of the board, all right, we've got Braila here, and she's hanging out with a couple thugs and infantrymen. There's another thug hanging out back there. And over here we have Bralek, a man-at-arms, an archer, another archer, and a warhound over there. One special rule that I'm using, since my board is slightly undersized, is that instead of the normal 6 inches, the figures have to set up within 3 movement units of the edge of the board. And then I guess one other last thing is, even though with this mausoleum here in the middle, there's windows and there's doorways where you can see all the way through, for game purposes, it's a solid building and no line of sight can be made through that, even though normal other windows, you can draw a line of sight through those. All right, we'll roll initiative and get the battle started. All right, finally something high. Looks like Braila and Bralek will be starting with that 18. Here we'll be activating with her entire little squad here, 2 thugs and infantrymen. First, she is going to attempt to cast
feet fleet on the thug in the brown hood over there. All right, fleet feet for the wizard casts on a 10. 12. We have our first successful spell of the entire campaign. All right, so after casting her spell, Braila will move 6 movement units. Hang out behind these gargoyles. Then the rest of her team will move. The feet-fleeted thug here can move 8 on his first move, which will bring him to here. Then he can move another 4, which will put him kind of right over here by this corner. And these guys will follow. They're both going to double move for 9. So that's 8, plus 4 more pigs. Put him about there. And this thug will be kind of right behind him. Right there. And now to the wizard phase for Gloven. Alright, so Gloven is going to do a regular activation with the Warhound, the Thug, and the Archer. And first thing that's going to happen is this Archer is going to take a shot at that skeleton over there. Alright, for the skeleton, they have a fight of +1 to the Archer's shoot of +2. So Gloven's Archer will be the white die, the skeleton will be the orange. Alright, 11 plus 2 is 13. Skeletons only have 1 health with 10 armor, so he takes 3 damage. The skeleton is defeated. Then the Archer is going to move. He'll move 6 right up there. Next, Gloven is going to activate. He will move 6 inches, 6 movement units. Right, he's going to come down here and just kind of turn the corner a bit. To right there. So from there, Gloven has a clear line of sight at this treasure over here. So he's going to attempt to cast Telekinesis. Telekinesis casts on a 10 for him. 20. Success. He moves that 6 inches. Alright, so that will move this treasure right over here next to this fallen skeleton. Alright, and next we will have these thugs move, or the thug and the warhound move. That thug right back there can move 6 inches, which will put him right on top of that skeleton's head, which will put him close enough to, in contact with that treasure to pick it up. Alright, so his second action will be used to pick up that treasure. And then the Warhound will move. The Warhound could double move for a total of 12, but it's just going to come over here and stand in front of this treasure token to ward off anyone trying to take that. Alright, now it's the apprentice side for this team. So Bralek over here is going to activate with this man-at-arms and this archer. So he will start by casting Fleet Feet on the man-at-arms. As the apprentice, he needs a 12. 10, he will cut for 2 and power that for 2, taking 2 damage and making it a successful cast. Alright, then Bralek can move 6 movement units. Put him right about there. Actually, he's going to come over this way, so he's out of range of enemy archers. Alright. Then this super fast man-at-arms can double move a total of 12. I'll put him down here. This is 11, so one more. We'll put him right up here by the treasure. And this archer can double move a total of 9. There we go. Alright, now for Strog's turn down there. So Strog is going to cast Telekinesis. He can see this treasure that's right down here. He needs a 12 to successfully cast that. 4. Fails by 8. He takes 1 point of damage. He's not going to empower that. Right, so after that failed spell, Gloven will move 6, which will put him kind of behind this rock outcropping. Alright, and then The archer will go. He can move 6, which will put him next to Strog. Alright, he moved, and the man-at-arms is behind light cover. Actually, the man-at-arms isn't in light cover because he's not touching that terrain. So just intervening terrain, so +1 because the archer moved, +1 for intervening terrain, so a total of +5 for him versus +2 for the archer. Man-at-arms gets a 19 to 7, so the arrow misses. Next we have the soldier phase for Braila and her squad. There's 3 soldiers that haven't moved yet. We've got a thug over here, an archer, and a warhound over there. First, his archer is going to take a shot at this skeleton. +2 versus +1. Got the red and orange at +2. 5 versus 18, so the arrow misses. He can move 6 inches, which will put him in contact with that skeleton. Then the warhound is also going to move up with him after he moves, and then the warhound will attack. Alright, so the warhound is normally +1. It gets +2 for support. So +2 versus +1. Alright, the dog takes a big bite out of that skeleton, turns him into dog bones, the 22 to a 4. Alright, next we're going to move this thug over here. He's going to double move. Alright, so this thug can move 6 + 3. So there's 6. 3 more will get him into contact with that treasure. Alright, so he is in contact with that treasure. And that ends Braila's soldier phase. Over here to Gloven. They have a thug over here, and a crossbowman, an archer, and another archer over there who have not moved. All right, so the crossbowman over here, thinking that there's going to be a lot of action happening over here. He is going to run over here, climb up this, and come up on top of this. 5 moves will get him to there, and then he's got on a double move 4 left, which will get him up there. All right. This thug over here is going to move at that treasure. Alright, 6 will put him there. And 3 more will get him to that treasure. Alright, so that treasure's just in front of him. None of the treasures have been picked up yet. Oops, I forgot that this thug over here did in fact pick up this treasure. So we'll actually see if a random monster appears. On a 16 or higher, it does. 16. So a random monster is going to appear. Alright, so since we got a monster, the way that I'm going to determine where the monster shows up is instead of having the monsters just show up right in the middle of an edge, I'm going to give them an opportunity to show up kind of anywhere along the side. These plates have these spots here. We're going to do 1, halfway through is 2, 3, halfway through is 4, 5. And same thing around the edges all the way around to 20 to see where they show up. And it's going to show up at spot number 13, which is actually in the middle of this side. And let's see what we get. First, we'll see if it's a level 1, 2, or 3 encounter. It is a level 1 encounter. And now we'll see where it ends up. Which monster type? 7 again. So 7 is a bear. Alright, we'll be using the Bearcat models for this. Alright, so there's a lovely Bearcat showing up. Maybe I would have done that skeleton attack a little different had I known a bear was there, but oh well. Alright, so now that little segue of monster encounters is over, we'll finish this soldier phase. This archer is going to run up here. 4 inches will get him to kind of the top of that platform. 2 more will get him to there. From there, you can shoot at that warhound or that other archer over there. So he'll hop up there and take a shot at the warhound. Get right up there. He moved, so the warhound gets a +1. So it's a +2 versus a +2. All right, Gloven's archer is the white die. So 10 to 18, the arrow misses. And they have one more archer left to move. This guy over here. All right, 6 inches. We'll put him kind of right over here. Put him in front of this other archer. And he too will take a shot at that man-at-arms. So man-at-arms is at a +5. The archer is at a +2. 9 to 24. That arrow misses as well. So the Gloven's plans for having his archers rain down terror isn't doing too much for him. But now we're going to see what this bear is going to do. So the last part of the round is the monster phase. It sees the hound. 6 inches won't get it to the hound, but it can double move into contact with the warhound. All right, and that is the end of round 1. So before I roll initiative, I need to spawn a skeleton. It's going to pop up at a random doorway. That'll be 1 through 5, 6 through 10, going around that way. Skeleton pops up at number 9, so it's going to pop up right over here. All right, so there's the skeleton for the turn. Now we'll roll initiative to see who goes first this round. Reroll that. Ooh, by 1, Gloven wins. Now, one of my special rules for this campaign is that the wizards can't successfully cast the same spell 2 rounds in a row. That's for each spellcaster. So since Gloven over here successfully cast telekinesis, he cannot cast it again. Strog failed his telekinesis roll, so he can cast that. And then both Bralek and Braila over here cast Fleet Feet successfully, so they cannot cast it this round. Alright, so originally my plan was for Gloven and Strog to use Power Word to empower Furious Quill or Glow, but I think I'm going to have him cast Power Word to empower Telekinesis. Gloven is going to activate with this archer and with this thug, but first he'll cast Power Word. It is a hard spell to cast. He casts it on a 14, but let's see if he can do it. 3. He fails by 11, taking 2 points of damage. So after that failed spell, Gloven is going to move 6. 4 will get him to the base of this ladder, and he's going to climb 2 moves up this ladder. Alright, so there he is on the ladder. And now this thug over here is going to move. So he is encumbered, so he moves half speed. So that'd be 3. He'll double move, so that'll be a total of 4.5. Give him his treasure. Alright, then this archer is going to take a shot at that thug that's coming at him. +2 versus +2. Alright, Gloven gets a 14 to a 20, so no luck on that arrow. Alright, a few things on the board might be kind of misplaced. I bashed my knee into the table, knocking a few things over, but I think I got things put back. So this archer, he just fired and missed, and he is going to kind of run over here. Put him over here to get in the way of anybody trying to stop this thug from leaving with the treasure. And now we'll go over to Braila's wizard phase. Seeing as Gloven had just tried to cast a power word for telekinesis, and that Gloven is climbing up here with a line of sight on this treasure, Braila wants to try to keep that treasure protected, so she is going to move 6 inches. And from there, she's going to cast a wall. Then 6 inches, she's going to try to cast it right across here like that. So she casts that on a 12. 19, success. All right, I've got my pile of walls here. This is 6 movement units long and 3 movement units tall. So that is a bit odd, but that is what she does. So now we go over to Strog's apprentice phase. He is going to try to cast telekinesis since he failed last turn. As from where he is, he can just barely see that treasure down there in front of that man-at-arms. So that's what he's going to try to move. He casts this on a 12. Failure by 7. He takes 1 point of damage. He's not going to move. He's going to stay where he is, but I forgot to say he's going to activate his 2 archers here with him, and they're going to do the same thing they did before. Let's start with this guy shooting at that man-at-arms behind the treasure, but this guy is still behind intervening terrain, so he gets a +1. So +4 to the shoot of +2. Shoot of 7, failure. Alright, and after that failed shot, he is going to move to make sure no one gets at this thug. He's just going to come move over here. I know that's within 6 inches. So he will go there. And now archer number 2 will fire at the man-at-arms as well. See if this archer can do anything. Alright, he got a total of 16 to 5, so that hits. The man-at-arms with his light armor and a shield has armor of 12. So that means he takes a total of 4 points of damage. Alright, so for Bralek's turn, he is going to move 6 inches. He is going to try to cast Wall right across here. He casts on a 14. 7. Fails by 7. He takes 1 point of damage. So now we go to the soldier phase for Gloven. This thug is already moved. The archer is gone. That archer is gone. That archer is gone. So we've got archer up here. We've got a crossbowman here. And a warhound. And this thug. So first, this crossbowman is going to take a shot at Braila. +2 versus +2. Alright, Braila gets a 20 to 14, so Braila dodges that crossbow bolt. And the crossbowman is just going to reload for his second action. Let's see what we do next. Why don't we have this thug here pick up this treasure, and then he's going to move. We'll roll for the random encounter after I do his move. He's going to move right back here. He can only move 3. He can only move a single move because he's picked up a treasure for his first action. 3 inches puts him right there. Let's roll to see if a monster shows up. On a 16 or higher, a monster appears. 6, failure. Alright, so the archer isn't going to fire an arrow. He's just going to run over and pick up this treasure. Alright, so another treasure pickup. Let's see if we get a monster. 15, no monster on that. They do have the warhound over here, and he wants to make sure that bad guys don't come through. So he is going to run up to engage this thug. +1 for the dog, +2 for the thug. Dog gets a 9 to a 5. No damage is dealt. They will stand combat. Right, so now it is soldier phase for Braila's soldiers. First thing, they're going to have this infantryman over here. He's going to run up and attack this dog. Normally has a +3 fight. He is supported by the thug for a +5 against +1. +5 to the orange die. 8 to 13. So the dog wins. Warhound inflicts 2 damage on the infantryman and will push him out of combat. Alright, so since that didn't work, that thug back there is going to run up and try the same thing. He's going to come behind the dog here, and this wall is magically going to reappear back up there. Alright, so now that thug will attack with a +4 total against +1. Orange gets +4. 20 to... not a 20. So that's 10 total damage on the dog. Dog only has 8 life, so the dog is defeated. Alright, so this other thug here is the one who has Fleet Feet cast on him. So he can move a total of 12, which will get him just enough to get over here and snap into combat on a double move with this thug carrying off this treasure. Alright, and then over here, this thug will pick up this treasure and then move 3 inches back, which will put him back there. Start of the black dot. Alright, and we'll roll to see if a random encounter happens from that. 16 or higher. 14. Alright, and over to here, this man-at-arms has Fleet Feet cast on him, so he can move 12 also. And if he came over here to try to get in combat with Strog, this archer might be able to snap into combat, but I think if he just climbs over the top here, 12 inches as the crow flies would put him 2 inches past, so even though he has to climb up and over, that would give him enough move to get right into combat with Strog. Alright, so there he is in combat with Strog. This treasure's still sitting here, not knocked over. Over here, the Warhound is not going to do anything, it's just going to stay in combat with the bear. And this archer is going to get out of there. He's going to move 3 inches to here, and then he's got 6 inches left. He can get up over here and touch this treasure. Actually, this archer can come all the way up. Oops. Touch that treasure and pick it up. Alright, so that archer is now holding a treasure. Let's roll to see if a monster comes. Nope. Alright, and that is the end of the soldier phase. Now we go to monsters. We've got the bear down here, and we also have a skeleton. Let's go and do this bear first. Alright, so the bear is the white die. +4 to +1. 16 to 10. So that's a hit on the dog. Alright, so armor of 10. That means that dog takes 6 points of damage and it's down to 2. Over here for the skeleton, the closest enemy to the skeleton is the infantryman. An attack +1 versus +3. So the skeleton is the white die. 9 versus 22. That skeleton is defeated. Alright, end of the round, we will see if this wall disappears on a 17 or 18 or higher. Let's see what we get. 17, let's consult the book. Alright, so on a 17 or higher, the wall vanishes, so that wall is gone. So that treasure is now in view. Right, so end of the round, we're going to see where the skeleton appears. So this here will be 1 through 5, 6 through 10 going this way. Same spot. Alright. Now we'll roll initiative to see who goes first this round, for round number 3. Alright, and it looks like Braila and Bralek are going first. Alright, so Braila over here is going to try to cast Decay on this crossbowman's crossbow. She casts it on a 12. 10, she'll cut for 2. Empowering it for 2, destroying that crossbowman's crossbow. Go ahead and pull that off him and knock him down. He has just his dagger now. Alright, now Braila is going to try to get up to this treasure in case there's a failed telekinesis roll. So she can move 3 to there. It's about 2 more to get to the ladder, so she can get about an inch up this ladder. Just remember, she's an inch up it. So, as Braila expected, Gloven is going to try to cast telekinesis on this treasure. 12. Cast on a 12. 5. He fails by 7. He takes 1 point of damage. He actually casts it on a 10. But failed by 5, still takes 1 point of damage, down to 11. And I neglected to say he's going to activate with the thug over here. So after his failed spell, he's going to come down and engage the enemy thug. Alright, then this thug is going to attack there. So Gloven's thug is encumbered, so -1, but it's supported, so +2. It's a total of +3 on the white die, +2 on the orange. right, so that's a total of 18. So that's successful. That deals 8 damage to Brown Hooded Thug. All right, then the Thug will push this Thug out of combat. Then he will move 3 inches, which puts him off the board. First treasure secured, and that is, it's got the gold cup. That is one of the special treasures for this scenario. All right, so next is Bralek's turn. He is going to group activate with those 2 archers in front of him. So first, the archer that's carrying the treasure will fire at that blue archer off in the distance. All right, so since that is an archer, when someone's carrying treasure, their move is halved and their fight is -1, but it doesn't say anything about their shoot being -1. So he's still shoot +2. So he's going to shoot a total of +2 against +2. All right. Oops, so we got 19 to 18. So that ends up dealing 9 points of damage to this guy. And then he's going to run away 3 inches. All right, then archer number 2 is also going to fire at that same blue archer. +2 versus +2. 10 versus 17, so no hit there. All right, and then this archer is just going to move up to try to help out his buddy over there eventually. We'll go there. Now Bralek is going to cast Fleet Feet on this archer. Maybe he should have done that before the archer activated. He'll cast this on a 12. 1. Failure by 11. Takes 2 points of damage. Alright, since Bralek is down to 6 health, he is going to retreat a little bit rather than fly into an area covered by archers. So he will move this way. Let's put him over here. Alright, next is Gloven's soldier phase. First, for Gloven's soldiers, since this guy no longer has a crossbow, he is going to run down that ladder and engage this thug to protect his wizard. And then this archer here is going to fire an arrow at the thug in red. +2 versus +2. Success, but not enough to get past the armor, so no damage is dealt. And then the archer is just going to step back a little bit, trying to protect this thug from getting off the board with this treasure. Over here, this archer is going to fire at him. +2 versus +2. 21 for Gloven's archer. That is enough to deal 10 damage to him. So he goes down. All right, and after that shot, he is going to go 3 and 3 to engage this man-at-arms to support his wizard. This archer here will shoot that archer down there carrying that treasure. Since that archer is encumbered, he is at fight +1. So white die is +2. 7 to 13. Failed shot. He too will come over here to mob. This thug can move 4.5 with this treasure. Put him right over here. And this archer up here carrying this treasure. He can't see anybody, so he is also going to just move 4.5. Put him right at the top of this ramp. Alright, that's the end of Gloven's soldier phase. So now over to Braila's soldier phase. Let's go ahead and start out with this man-at-arms. He's going to attack the wizard, the apprentice. So he's at +3 versus +4 for Gloven because he's supported by 2 guys. It's +3 on the red die. So we have 11 to 21, which is 9 damage. Alright, the man-at-arms is already down to 8, so the man-at-arms falls in combat. Alright, so he goes down. Alright, so both of these wizards' plan is to leave with more treasure than their opponent. However, I don't think that is either wizard is in much of a position to do that. So I think that Braila's men will continue to try to leave here. We'll have this thug move. He can move 4.5. Alright, so that'll put him right over here. Alright, this thug here is going to come over and engage this skeleton and attack him. Alright, so the thug is +2, the skeleton is +1. +2 on the orange die for the thug. 11 versus 13. The thug takes 3 damage. So that was actually enough to kill this thug. He was at 2 health, so this thug is defeated. This treasure fell off from up here. Alright, so originally this infantryman was going to run down and try to scare off that wizard, but he needs to defeat this skeleton before it comes after the apprentice. So he's coming over here. +3 versus +1. 13 to 18. That's 7 damage on the infantryman. Alright, the infantryman is down to 1 hit point. Over here, the warhound will stay in combat just to keep that bearcat occupied. And we have the thug over here who will attack this crossbowman. Thug is at +2. Crossbowman is also +2. Alright, we got 19 to 5. So that is 8 damage on the crossbow. He'll actually push the crossbowman out of combat so that he can come over and engage the wizard. Keep Gloven busy so he can't try to cast telekinesis again. And that is the end of the soldier phase. Next is monster phase. Let's see what happens with the skeleton and the infantryman. Is this going to be superhero skeleton man? The infantryman. Let's see here. Monsters can't critical hit. So that counts as a 21 against a 22. So actually I was thinking about the rule in Rangers of Shadow Deep, which is another game written by Joseph A. McCullough. In that game, monsters can't score critical hits, but in this game they can. So that skeleton just took out this infantryman as well. And now it sees this wizard over here. So it can move 4 inches, which will put him within an inch of Bralek and force combat. Alright, now let's see what happens over here with this bearcat and this dog. The dog is the orange. 9 to a lot. That dog, poor warhound, kept that bearcat at bay for a while. Now he can move. Now the way I'm going to determine monster movements in this, if they don't see anybody, which this bearcat can't see anybody, is I'm going to roll the die, and starting with location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there determines which area it moves towards. It'll go around obstructions to get there. 15, which is right here. So it just comes over here and hangs out. And also the monsters in my campaign will not leave the board. Right, a new skeleton will appear. 1 to 5, 6 and on. 17. That means a new skeleton is going to appear in that doorway. Well, the Chronomancers team can't get very lucky here with these skeletons popping out all over them. All right, let's roll initiative to see who goes first. 7. All right, the Chronomancer gets to go first. All right, so Braila's just going to climb these stairs and then pick up the last unclaimed treasure. See if we get a monster from that. 12, nope. All right, Gloven is over here in combat, so he is going to activate with the crossbowmen. So the crossbowman will go first and just move into combat. Crossbowman is supported, so he gets a +4 total. 18 to 15, so the crossbowman wins. And that is a defeated thug. Alright, for Gloven's turn, he is going to cast Glow on Braila. He casts this on a 12. Failure by 9. Takes 1 point of damage. Realizing that her team has no chance of pulling off more than half the treasures, she is going to try to get out of there. She's going to cast Fleet Feet on herself. She casts on a 10. Failure. 1 point of damage. And then she will move down the ladder 3 inches. She'll kind of hop at the end and end up at the bottom. Alright, so Braila is there. And now it's to the apprentice phase for Strog. And Strog is going to move out here. It's right there. So you can see that archer carrying the treasure down there. And he'll cast Furious Quill on a 12. Got it. Alright, so that guy is affected by a quill. Alright, and then these archers here. Archer, the eye patch is going to turn around and fire. So this archer is -2 since he's got that quill. So +2 on the white die versus +0 on the red. Oh, that is a 20. Alright, so with that 20, that's 9 damage. That archer has not been hit yet, so he is down to 1. Then he is going to move 6 inches, so 1 more than this. So we'll put him right about there, out of the line of sight of the other archer. Now this archer, I guess you can't actually see him. So he's going to climb over all these bodies, come up there. And now he will fire a shot. +2 on the white die, +1 for moving. Alright, so no damage that time. Right, now we'll go to apprentice phase over here. Knowing he doesn't have much other choice, he's going to go and attack this skeleton. He has a fight +0. Let's see if Bralek can defeat this skeleton. Alright, 16 to 12, that's a defeat. Takes out that skeleton, and seeing another skeleton coming at him. And these archers coming. He is going to run. Alright, so you can move 3 to right there. And another 3 right back here by his buddy. Alright, so for Gloven's soldiers, we'll start with this archer here. He's going to try to stop Braila from leaving the battlefield. Alright, so he's going to come down here. Alright, then the only other soldiers for Gloven that haven't moved are this thug. He can move 4.5, which will get him off the board, securing another one of the golden cupped special treasures. And this archer can move 4.5. Now over to Braila's soldier phase. Alright, so this thug is just going to walk off the board. He's within 4.5 inches, and he has one of the special treasures. Alright, so this archer is going to go. He's got Furious Quill cast on him. It was cast at a 14, so he needs to roll a 14 or higher to break the spell. 13. Failure by 1. So he still has that. He's fight -2, shoot -4, and move -1. Even though he can't shoot very well, he's going to take a shot at that skeleton there. Hey, he still gets a +2 -4, a 14, which is enough to defeat that skeleton. Skeleton goes down. He will move half of 5, which is 2.5 inches. So that's the end of the soldier phase. We're on to monsters. This is the only monster on the board. Let's see which area he runs off to. 5, which is down there. So he's going to move straight that way as well as he can. He can move 6 on his first move. 3 there. About there. Alright, I can't see anyone within 10 inches, so it'll roll to see which direction it goes now. 9, which is right over here. 3 inches in that direction. New round, let's see where the skeleton pops up. 11, that is going to be right there. Alright, we'll see who goes first this round. Alright, we've got Braila's team going first. Braila is going to cast Fleet Feet on herself. 7. She needs a 10, so she will empower that for 3. And then she will do her second move, which is 3.5 inches. Alright, then Gloven is going to move over here. This is less than 6 inches. 6 movement units, and he's going to cast Bones of the Earth on Braila. This casts on a 14. An 8. He'll power that up with 6 to successfully cast that. Alright, so she is held in place. Next, we're off to the apprentice phase. Bralek is going to come over here and kind of tuck up against this. Poke his head out enough to see that archer and cast Fleet Feet. He casts on a 12. 11, he will empower that for 1. Alright, so this archer is now move of 8, or Strog's turn. This archer is within 3 inches. So this archer is going to fire an arrow at this archer. 5. He's got the Furious Quill, so it still doesn't matter, not enough to hit him. And that archer is going to move up 6 inches. Put him right about there. So for Strog, this bear cat over here can see him, so he's going to cast Bones of the Earth, even though he casts on a 16. See if he can hold that bear in place. Failure by 10. He takes 2 damage. I think he's going to retreat. He'll be able to come back here. He can hide from the bear right there. For the one soldier that Braila and Bralek have left, I think he's going to fire an arrow even though he's got a -4 to that at that archer, because that archer only has 1 hit point left. See if he breaks that quill. No. So he gets a -2 to his red dice here, which fails. Second action, he'll move. He's got a total of 7 movement normal, so half of that is 3.5. So he can move to here. For Gloven soldier phase, we'll start with some easy stuff. This guy will leave the board with a standard treasure. And over here, Braila has Bones of the Earth cast on her, so this guy doesn't want to shoot at her and destroy the Bones of the Earth, so he's just going to move over here and block her exit. So if she moves, he will stop her. Over here, this crossbowman with no crossbow, he's going to move to right there. Archer over here is going to move 6. put him basically right in front of that other archer. He's going to try to take down that soldier. +2 versus +0. Yeah, that's 20. So he is defeated. Now the skeleton here can see Gloven. So he'll move, double move 6 towards Gloven. Right about there. The Bearcat, let's see which area he moves to. 17, which is this, moves at this direction. He's going to move 6 inches. 6 inches will get him to right about there. And you'll see Bralek can move into combat. Yeah, he can get close enough to snap into combat. So, no luck there for Bralek. You know, they tried to summon an animal companion, try to get their own Bearcat at the start of this battle, but that did not happen. So that is the end of that round. Let's see where a skeleton spawns to. 16 will put one right here. Alright, new round. Let's roll initiative. Alright, looks like Gloven is going first. Can't activate with anybody, but he is going to go ahead and cast Furious Quill on Braila. Nine. He needs a 10 to successfully cast that, so he will empower it for 1. So Braila is now fight -2, and she has the Bones of the Earth on her. So she has to fight that. So Bones of the Earth is fight 0. So 0 to 0. And she loses. She takes 5 damage, putting her down to 3 health. So next is the apprentice phase. Gloven is just going to run away from the skeleton. He's not going to leave the battlefield. I guess it's Strog. He's not going to leave the battlefield yet. He's just going to run around this way. Alright, next is Bralek's turn. Bralek has no choice, he has to fight this Bearcat. And he wins. He gets 12 to 1, dealing 2 damage to the Bearcat. He'll push it away. And he's just going to run away. Even though that treasure's right in front of him, he's got 2 archers and a Bearcat. So he will leave. Next is the soldier phase. So Gloven's soldiers are going to go. This guy's just going to come around and get into combat with Braila. Now, I don't think that Bones of the Earth counts. Well, it doesn't count as a soldier, so it shouldn't add support. So this archer's going to run up and attack. So +2 on the white die and +0 on the red die. 20 to 8. So that deals 10 damage to Braila. And Braila falls in combat. And with that, Braila and her warband have no figures remaining on the board, which means that Gloven and Strog have won this battle. All remaining treasures, as per the core rulebook, go to the surviving player, which means they gain an additional special treasure and regular treasure. So Gloven and Strog have succeeded in their mission on this battle anyway, to retrieve more treasures than their opponent. And let's see what happens to all these enemies, or all these figures that were defeated in combat, and whether they'll live to fight another battle. Well, Gloven and his team were quite successful. They managed to secure 3 treasures, They lost their Warhound and they lost a crossbow, which will come back at the end of the battle. But otherwise, yeah, they did great. There were 2 treasures left on the battlefield, 1 normal and 1 special. And so they get those as well. So let's roll to see if this dog makes it through. All right, on a 1 to 4, he is dead. On a 5 to 8, he is just badly wounded. 10, and the dog is just fine. With the 3 special treasures that Gloven and his team found, they get an additional 50 gold crowns for each one and an additional 20 experience points for each one. All right, so for their 5 treasures, we'll roll to see what they get. All right, 1 is d20 times 10 gold crowns. 2 is d20 times 20 gold crowns. So 13 is 20 gold crowns and a grimoire. 15 is 60 gold crowns and a grimoire. And 16 is 80 gold crowns and a grimoire. All right, so for the d20 times 10 gold crowns, they get 30. The d20 times 20 gold crowns, they get 100. And for the 3 grimoires, we will roll these. See what we've got. All right, so all of them are in the 4th column. We've got 2, 3, and 15. Familiar, fast act, and elemental shield. All right, so all their treasures got them a total of 440 gold crowns. They'll probably be selling the grimoire of familiar since they already have that spell, and they'll have 2 other familiars. Let's see what their experience points are.
Looking at the experience table from the Maze of Malcor book, Gloven and Strog failed to cast 5 spells, giving them 25 experience points. They successfully cast only 4 spells for 40 experience points. The award for wizard participation is only given if we play with 1 less treasure token than standard, which we didn't. They did secure 5 treasure tokens for a total of 250 experience, plus 3 of those were special treasure tokens, which each give 20 additional experience points, so 60 experience points bonus there. And then lastly, they defeated 1 skeleton for 5 experience points. So all together, they received 380 experience points. However, with this chart, wizards max out at 300 experience points in-game per battle.
So overall, a pretty good battle for Gloven and Strog. Let's see how Braila and Bralek fared. Well, Braila and Bralek did not fare quite so well. Just Bralek and 1 thug made it off the board. They did acquire 1 special treasure, but they've got a whole pile of fallen comrades they had to drag off the battlefield. So let's start out by seeing the fate of these fallen soldiers. We'll start in order of value, starting with the Warhound. 13, he's fine. Thug with the brown hood, he's fine. Red-hatted thug is fine. Archer in red is wounded. Archer with the gray legs is fine. Infantryman is fine. Man-at-arms, fine. And now for the real test, let's see how Braila fares. 12. All right, well, she lucked out there. She's got a full recovery. So considering all their fallen soldiers, that's not bad to end up with just 1 soldier badly wounded. All right, so let's see what they get for their special treasure. 17. 17 is 100 gold crowns and a grimoire. Let's see what the grimoire is. Column 4, spell number 4. Bind Demon. For experience points, they actually did pretty well. For each failed spell, they failed 3 spells, so that's 15 total experience for that. They successfully cast 6 spells, so that's another 60. They don't get the participation points. They pulled 1 treasure off for 50 experience, plus that was a special treasure, so another 20, and 5 points for each skeleton killed. They defeated 4 of those for another 20, which gave them actually 165 experience to go on top of 150 total gold for the roll and for the special treasure. So all things considered, I think they actually made it off pretty well for how poorly the battle went for them.
All right, well, I expected the Chronomancers to do a little better in that battle. There's a few things that kind of, I think, led to their downfall. First was their failure to successfully cast their out-of-game spells. Animal Companion would have basically turned their Warhound into a bear, and casting Reveal Secret would have put an additional treasure on their side of the board, which, based on their playstyle that I'm using, they wouldn't have even tried to get treasure from the other side of the board, which would have kept their soldiers more condensed. Another thing that I think they dealt with was a lack of variety for in-game spells. It seemed like each turn I didn't have the perfect spell I was looking for. I'd look at their list and I wasn't really sure which spell would help them in that moment. With that, at the end of the game, I missed an opportunity to cast the wall spell. I think I forgot they had it. If Braila had cast it at one point, she probably wouldn't have fallen in combat. She could have blocked the enemies from getting to her. And on the other side of the board, Bralek probably could have cast it to prevent the bearcat from eating one of his soldiers, who ended up dropping a treasure. The thing I think affected the outcome the most in this battle was, as I alluded to in the intro, was the random monsters. That bearcat kept the Warhound tied up the whole game, and then that super skeleton that defeated two of their soldiers, and actually would have defeated Bralek had I not confused the dice in that roll. But random encounters can really affect things. As for the Sigilists, I think they did pretty well in this battle, despite only successfully casting 4 spells the entire game. But the spells they did cast seemed to do a pretty good job affecting how the Chronomancers played. They were able to move treasure onto their side, and they were able to cast some status anomaly effects on the Chronomancer soldiers and the Chronomancer herself. But I think one of the biggest things that helped them was that they didn't have to deal with the random monsters. They fought 1 skeleton, which they defeated with an arrow, and they never had to face that bearcat. So all in all, the Sigilists did pretty well. I won't be explaining in this battle how each of the wizards is spending their gold crowns and their experience points. Instead, at the start of each of their battles, I'll give kind of a state of the warband for each wizard to say what they've upgraded, what they've purchased, just so it's fresh in everybody's memory right when they watch the battle of how these wizards are entering the battlefield. That's all for this video. Please click like or subscribe down below to keep up with all the content that Dad's Playing Games is releasing. I'll put a link in the description of this video once I have the next battle uploaded, so you can watch that. And for Dad's Playing Games, I'm Alan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.